So that leaves the thing in the middle as the tall pole, the thing that's hardest to achieve. Not moose, but water. Although moose would be pretty cool. And not frozen water, but water, and not water in a gaseous state, but liquid water. This is what life needs to survive, all life. And many solar system bodies don't have liquid water, and so we don't look there. And other solar system bodies might have abundant liquid water, even more than Earth, but it's trapped beneath an icy shell. And so it's hard to access, it's hard to get to, it's hard to even find out if there's any life there. So that leaves a few bodies that we should think about. And so let's make the problem simpler for ourselves. Let's think only about liquid water on the surface of a planet. There are only 3 bodies to think about in our solar system with regard to liquid water on the surface of a planet. And in order of distance from the sun, it's Venus, Earth, and Mars. And you want to have an atmosphere for water to be liquid. And you have to be very careful with that atmosphere. You can't have too much atmosphere, too thick or too warm an atmosphere, because then you end up too hot, like Venus, and you can't have liquid water. And if you have too little atmosphere and it's too thin and too cold, you end up like Mars, too cold. So Venus is too hot, Mars is too cold, and Earth is just right. You can look at these images behind me and you can see automatically where life can survive in our solar system. It's a Goldilocks type problem, and it's so simple that a child could understand it. However, I'd like to remind you of 2 things from the Goldilocks story that we may not think about so often, but that I think are really relevant here. Number 1, if Mama Bear's bowl is too cold when Goldilocks walks into the room, does that mean it's always been too cold? Or could it have been just right at some other time? When Goldilocks walks into the room, determines the answer that we get in the story. And the same is true with planets. They're not static things. They change, they vary, they evolve. And atmospheres do the same. So let me give you an example. Here's one of my favorite pictures of Mars. It's not the highest resolution image, it's not the sexiest image, it's not the most recent image, but it's an image that shows riverbeds cut into the surface of the planet. Riverbeds carved by flowing liquid water. Riverbeds that take hundreds or thousands or tens of thousands of years to form. And this can't happen on Mars today. The atmosphere of Mars today is too thin and too cold for water to be stable as a liquid. This one image tells you that the atmosphere of Mars changed, and it changed in big ways. And it changed from a state that we would define as habitable, because the 3 requirements for life were present long ago.